The following program is intended for mature audiences.
The time is now for the hardest hitting, yet completely trivial football show on the planet.
You are in rarefied territory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Broken Helmet.
Let's rock.
Welcome back for a double dipper. The double dipper. Broken Helmet here, another July 28th, although we are pushing midnight, people. So by the time I'm done with this sucker, it might be the 29th. And like always, coming to you live on tape. Rich Eggy here. We just did an episode and talked about the Wednesday events around the NFL camps opening. We had Dak Prescott getting banged up, quarterback signings with Trey Lance. We had a couple of coaches back up their quarterbacks. You know, Mr. Gruden, Mr. Shanahan. There's starting to be some stuff. 24 COVID cases. Please help me. Boo. Not what we want to deal with, but they were there. But really the story of the day was Pissy Face. The great Aaron Rodgers did his press conference as he returned to Green Bay to the shock of absolutely no one. No one. Nobody thought that he was going to do anything other than play this year in Green Bay. That is a hashtag fact. That is the truth. For him to have gone anywhere else would have been kind of crazy and wouldn't really have worked. It just wouldn't have. And there's a ton of reasons why. But primarily, it's just the finances behind it. Right? He wasn't going to sit out. He was either going to retire or he was going to play. Done. Those were the two options. And I was reading on The Ringer, Danny Heifetz, who I think is a great reporter, content creator, whatever you want. Does NFL, the podcast, also writes pieces for The Ringer. He summarized it here, just talking about the monies behind a Rodgers possible holdout, whatever. If Rodgers held out the entire month of August, he would have been fined about $2 million. If he skipped this season, he would have forfeited $15 million worth of salary. And the Packers could have asked him to pay back roughly $23 million of his signing bonus. Again, he made enough that he probably could have done that, right? Because he's forfeiting the $15 million. Okay, he doesn't have that yet. He's got to roughly pay back $23 million. Yeah, who wants to pay back $23 million? I'm sure he's got $23 million in the bank. Heifetz wrote that he made $241 million in salary alone. Doesn't include the State Farm money, as he's been State Farm's poster boy for how many years now, right? But you just factor those couple things in. That would have been basically a 2 plus the 15 plus the 23. That would have been a $40 million slide. And guess what? That is not happening. No way. You are not going to give up $40 million. Could he have gotten traded? Maybe. Difficult to imagine that a trade would have been in the best interest of anybody involved. And again, I talked about this previously on a podcast, so I don't want to rehash things that I talked about before. I should have pulled out this piece from Danny Heifetz to get these numbers in when I did the previous pod. It would have established some of the things that we were talking about better and given them some more meat. Heifetz did a better job in his column. You should go to the Ringer and read it if you want. It's a little dated now. It's like a week. That's how fast things get dated. But it was a good piece, and that's what just reinforces what many, including myself, have been thinking, which was this is only going one way, and that is for Rodgers to be playing on the Packers in 2021. But that did not stop today from happening. And by today, I mean Wednesday and the press conference that Pissy Face did. But it was a full day of stuff. So the Packers GM comes out today, and the first thing he says is Aaron Rodgers has the same input as previously. They're just working on incorporating it. Bullshit. Again, just a big steamy pile of shit from a bull. Because you don't have input if it's not being incorporated. You can't say you have the same input that you've always had. We're just figuring out a way to incorporate it more. No, you either have input or you're not. It's either used or it's not. If your input is not used, it's not input. Plain and simple. That's how it works. Input not used is not input. It's not. It's nothing. That's what it is. Think of it as just like a computer algorithm. If you don't put whatever it is in, it's not input. It's nothing. It's sitting on the sidelines. So he comes out and says that. Randall Cobb, he locks in his trade. It doesn't result in any more money for him, but he goes back to the Packers. There was a hang-up earlier with his guaranteed money, with the guaranteed cash, but that got settled because the Texans ended up picking up $3 million of his salary. So Rodgers gets Cobb back, which again is amazing to me. Trey Wingo, congratulations. Trey Wingo broke that one early. He was the one that broke that one. I, once again, went at the end of the podcast, said I was not going to record a podcast ever. Trey Wingo was a piece of shit, and I couldn't have been more wrong. So be it. So I did take a day off, but it wasn't for that reason, but I'm going to say it was, so I honor not recording a podcast, at least for a day. But again, I look at Randall Cobb's numbers, and I stand by the fact that Randall Cobb should not be a factor in Aaron Rodgers' performance this year. There are many Randall Cobbs out there. And shit, let's just look at Randall Cobb's numbers, shall we? Randall Cobb's the guy. Right now, I get it. It's a slot receiver. He wants a slot receiver that he can rely on, that he's comfortable with. I guess Randall Cobb's that guy. But to think that Randall Cobb is a game breaker or some colossal factor, come on. Give me a break.
It's about to get all stupid up in here!
Here we go. In 2014, Randall Cobb is 24. That's 7 years ago. He's 24 years old. He has 91 catches for almost 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. I mean, that fantastic year. Fantastic year. These are the numbers in the years to follow. 79 for 829, 6 touchdowns. 60 for 610 for 4 touchdowns. 66 for 653, 4 touchdowns. 38 for 383 and 2 touchdowns. Granted, he only played 9 games. He's gone after that. He goes to Dallas in 2019. 29 years old. 55 catches, 828, 3 touchdowns. He goes to Houston last year. Deshaun Watson. Granted, Deshaun likes to throw the ball downfield more. However, top-tier quarterback, even though he's not going to play this year. 18 full games, or 10 games, 10 games played. Started 2 of them. 48 48 targets, 38 catches, 441 yards. His yards per reception in his big year that we were talking about, 2014, when he had 1,300 yards, 14.1. After that, 10.5, 10.2, 9.9, 10.1, 15.5 in the 6 games that he started, 15 played total for Dallas in 2019. They stretched the field a little bit more. And then 11.6 last year. I just don't see why Randall Cobb was a focal point of any of this, outside of the fact that Aaron Rodgers is basically saying, you want me back here this year, you're going to do whatever the fuck I say, and you're going to get me whoever the fuck I want. And you're going to shut your mouths, and you're just going to do it. And I want Randall Cobb back here. And that's what I want. And Packers were like, okay, sure. So that's what ends up happening. Word also broke today. Paul Allen, I think he was talking to Florio from PFT. Paul Allen of K-Fan. He said Roger believed the Packers told him they were going to trade him, and then they didn't. So part of the reason he's pissed off is because, like he said before, not only does he feel like he doesn't have input, but he feels that the team is just yanking his chain left and right. So the reality of the situation is that when quarterbacks get to a certain status in their career, they just become bigger than the team. Because of all the professional sports that are out there, the quarterback position is probably the most important of any given position in any sport. It just is. Goalies, to a certain effect in hockey, can obviously lead teams to tournaments by standing on top of their head. Also very key. But they still don't dictate a game like a quarterback does in football. And in basketball, I mean, whatever. There's 5 guys on the court. You can be one standout guy and you dictate it. But, I mean, it could be any one of any positions. In football, it's the quarterback. And when quarterbacks get to be as big as Aaron Rodgers is, they end up becoming bigger than the team. That's it. Because their mentality always becomes the same. And I have yet to see this anywhere. And even Tom Brady ultimately had this same thought process, and it came out last year. I mean, you just saw it. And is that, do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do? You should let me go shop for the groceries. There you go. There's a football reference. And for those that you don't know, that's great. Bill Parcells. You want me to cook? Let me shop for the groceries. And that's ultimately how quarterbacks have started thinking. It used to be a little bit less back in the day. It's gravitated more toward more grandiose ideas about their relevance to a given franchise. Namely, that on top of being a player, they should also be front office. Now, it was ludicrous back in the day to think of the coaches as being GMs until people like Parcells started pushing and started making those kind of statements, which then spread to others. And then all of a sudden you're seeing more coaches be GMs and coaches, Now all of a sudden, I guess, it's starting to be quarterbacks. Quarterbacks think that they should have some input too. And that was what Rodgers talked about a ton today, amongst other things, because he talked about a whole hell of a lot. And I thought a good way to go about this today would just be to play the press conference and to do a little in-the-moment analysis. I mean, why don't we, right? So without further ado, let's go out, courtesy of NFL, ESPN, everybody that aired this. Let's do the conference right now. I'm not going to do the full 30 minutes, but we'll do 17, about 17 minutes of it. Let's see how far we can go with this sucker. All right, so he's going to start off talking.
I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. I think, there was a lot of things that transpired. This wasn't, a draft day thing.
Definitely a lot of things have transpired.
This
That's for
was
shit sure.
Started with a conversation in February.
After the season ends?
Ended.
Yep, there we go.
And I just expressed, my desire to be
A factor?
more involved in conversations that directly affected my job.
Of course, because you're the GM now.
Also,
Because you're
I
more than a
wanted to help
quarterback.
the organization maybe learn from them some of the mistakes in the past, in my opinion, about the way that some of the
Okay. Now he's going to lay it heavy into Brett Favre. And I don't think he talks about Brett Favre here, but without naming names, I don't care what he says going forward. He's talking about Brett Favre. And he's talking about how Brett Favre got ran out. And because they're buddies. And basically saying, hey, you disrespected Brett, and I am aware of that. And I know he names other people here, but I mean, it is Brett Favre what he is talking about. And basically going Team Brett, screw the Packers. And I'm hopefully telling them how they shouldn't do that to me because I'm bigger than the Packers. Like Favre was bigger than the Packers. And I'm sorry, I'm not on that boat because I'm a firm believer that the team is bigger than any given player. And I don't care who my quarterback is, ultimately the quarterback will get old and will be no good anymore. And I hope you never give reins to my team to the quarterback. But whatever. So he's going to talk about players here.
outgoing veterans were treated, and just the fact that we didn't retain a number of players.
Jordy Nelson's
that I felt
coming
like
up.
were core players to our foundation,
Because,
our locker room.
he got
high
his
character guys. I'm talking about
PP hurt.
and Jordy Nelson,
When that didn't
Julius
happen.
Peppers,
There you go.
Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, James Jones.
Okay, hold on. Jordy Nelson wasn't in the league much longer after they got rid of him. For those that didn't follow, those other guys he named, all were at the end of their fucking career. Julius Peppers, maybe a couple more years, but he was not a longtime Packer. Clay Matthews barely played after that. Randall Cobb, we just went through his numbers. He hasn't done shit since 2014. 2014, he had 1,300 yards. He hasn't broke 1,000 ever since. Not since. And then James Jones, again, the guys he's naming ended up being out of the league a short while after. The Packers did a great job getting rid of old players and cutting the fat. You don't want to pay old players that are no good anymore. I don't care about respect. That's not how the fucking NFL works. It doesn't work with respect. It works with performance. You get paid for performance. If you want to pay people for respect and time served, your team will suck for eons. Fact. But here we go with James Jones. Fuck, give me a break. James Jones.
John Kuhn, Brett Good, T.J.
come
Lang,
on.
Brian Balaga,
Oh,
Casey
come
Hayward,
on.
Micah Hyde, guys who were, exceptional players for us, but great locker room guys, high character guys.
Yeah, sure.
Many of them who weren't offered a contract at all.
Because they were
or
done,
extremely
dude.
lowballed, or were, maybe in my opinion, not
This
given the respect on the way out that guys of their status and stature.
fuck
and
off.
high
It's
character
about
deserve.
on the field performance, and all those guys were done.
And
This
then
is
it
why
kind
you're
of
not a
progressed
GM,
from
you
there
stupid.
into, a commitment for the 2021 season and beyond.
Here we go.
That really wasn't
Money.
Given at any time. So for me, I had to assess the situation.
Assess the situation.
A lame duck quarterback, especially after an MVP season, which I think you can understand.
Oh, hold on. Lame duck after an MVP season. Let's just go back the year before that, when you played like thorough dog shit. And look, Aaron Rodgers in his prime could be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, athletic ability QB that there was. I don't even know what that terminology that I just used is, but I just said it, so fuck it, I'm going with it. It definitely skill set, maybe not fundamentals, but the skill set was greater than most everybody, if not everybody. However, 2 years ago you stunk, and you looked like you were going downhill. They drafted Love because of it. Because, look, with the exception of Tom Brady, who's now playing at 40 whatever, no quarterback goes this long. I mean, you're playing at 38 years old. That's ancient in sports. 38 is ancient. You never saw this shit before modern times. It's more impressive somebody like LeBron James playing at 36 or whatever with the physicality and the athleticism that he still utilizes, because you never saw that ever. Remember when Jordan left, Jordan came back, and I think Jordan was like 40, and his body was falling apart. He couldn't dunk anymore. He still put up okay numbers, but his game just wasn't the same. I mean, the body just doesn't have it. So at 38, just because you had an MVP season, you want the team to turn around and then what? Back up the truck? Will allow you to back up the truck? And just open up the vault so that you can swim in Green Bay's money even more? You're going to get $40 million. Well, I'm sorry, not $40 million. It was a swing of $40 million, right? But you're going to get $15 million this year. You made $230 over your career with the $241 with your career with them. I mean, enough. You say it's about commitment. Bullshit. It's not about fucking commitment. You want more years, more say, more money. You want to be the team. You want to be the coach, and you want to be the GM, and you want to be the quarterback. Because you are Pissy Face. That's who you are. And
then the other part in February was wanting to be a part of conversations involving free agents.
You're not a GM.
Which has never happened in my career.
Because you're not a GM. That's how that works. That's how business fucking works.
Most of my career in the off seasons. My agency, Athletes First, has had a number of high draft picks over the years. I've tried to.
Oh, you were a liaison?
Information.
Yes, a liaison.
Hasn't really been.
I've been a valuable source of information to the Packers.
So I wanted to offer my services as a recruiter.
You're not a recruiter, though.
I think we can all understand. Green Bay isn't.
You're a quarterback.
A huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me, to play with our team, and knowing that they can win a championship here.
You are a stupid asshole.
That's exactly what he is. It's about to get all stupid up in here.
Green Bay is not a vacation destination. Hey, Green Bay, the Wisconsin, the state in which I play that I say that I love, you're not a vacation destination. You're a shithole. People come here to play with me. Oh, this guy. I mean, shit.
Your organization's terrible.
No, I argue, Donald. I argue. I don't think their organization is terrible. I think that Mr. Rogers here is completely out of his mind.
Don't be rude.
I'm sorry. I just... Oh, God, the guy shits on Green Bay, doesn't even realize he shits on Green Bay, only to piss and moan that, he doesn't have more say. Only in sports do you see this, right? Because if you were, per se, a manager and walked into the vice president's office and said, hey, look, dude, a lot of the reason that things are working the way they are right now is because of me. And so you should come by my cubicle more often. And you should knock on my cubicle and then ask me to meet in a conference room and ask me for my thoughts on how you are going to manage the department. Because without me, where would you be? Right? Yeah, sure. So that would never work because in the real life, that would end up getting you shit canned. That's how that works. Not in sports, though. So, Pissy Face continues.
And the fact that I haven't been used in those discussions was one I wanted to change moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like based on my years, the way I can still play, that
based on last year, 2 years ago, no, not the case.
As that progressed from that point, nothing really changed on that front.
So the team wouldn't bend at the knee.
So we got into March, and the conversation changed. As I felt like...
Because you want it out, motherfucker.
If you can't commit to me past 2021, and I'm not a part of recruiting process and for agency...
Here's your stance.
If I'm not a part of the future, then instead of letting me be a lame duck quarterback, if you want to make a change and move forward, then go ahead and do it.
It's a contract. It's a contract. That's how contracts work. You're not a lame duck quarterback. You're under contract. You sign a contract for X amount of years, and then that's how it works. You work those years. It's not a lame duck. You were never hired to be a recruiter. So what does that have to do? And you want to shop for your own goods? Well, guess what? Your contract goes through year X. The people that you want to sign, their contracts they're not going to want, Roger's only here 2 more years. He wants you to come on the team. We're going to sign you for a 2-year deal. Fucking no way. Nobody's going to do that. They're going to be like, no, I want a 5-year deal. What did, wide receiver Z get? Oh, he got a 5-year fucking $70 million deal. I want a 5-year $72 million deal. Yeah, but Aaron's only going to be here for 2 years, and you're really only going to work with it. I don't give a shit about Aaron. This is why Aaron Rodgers isn't part of the recruiting process, because he's not going to be here forever. And long term, dude, you're 38 years old. How long is long term for you? Right? You're going to point to Tom Brady? Yeah, guess how many people did it before Tom Brady did? None. Sorry. Whatever.
That obviously didn't happen. Like I said, it wasn't a draft day thing. There were conversations for a number of months leading up to that.
Yeah.
Post the draft, I think what basically happened was then they said...
you got even more pissed off because they didn't trade you.
We'll give you some money now. Let's see if we can throw some money at you. I said from the start it wasn't about the money.
Yes, it is.
I just said didn't show up for the off-season program.
It is. Money is a factor. That's why you didn't just...
It was about...
stay away this year.
A resource for the organization that I care about and love so much. So when the money came at me, the other part is, the backstory to that is, after the season.
Beautiful, right? So I am not the bad guy. You're the bad guy because you just think I'm about money, and that's what you think this is. This is just money to you. I'm not about money. I'm about more than money. More than money. I'm about the people. I'm about this shitty not vacation spot, Green Bay. That's what I'm about.
There was a part of me that did think that there would be conversation about an extension. Based on my cap number this season, next season, it seemed natural based on the way I played.
Yeah,
so at least to have a
but it's not about money,
dude. It wasn't a conversation.
It's not about money, right?
Not until into May. And that to me seemed like an analogy that you guys understand. You guys have a fantastic year.
Oh, I heard this
work.
before.
You wait
till you hear this one.
You go to your boss.
Remember,
and say,
it's not about money.
Year. I think I deserve a pay raise, or some security, and the boss says,
Hold on, this sounds like it's about money.
A couple months down the line, you get another job opportunity, you go back to your boss and say, hey, I got this amazing job opportunity.
Mind you, the analogy he's using is him, Aaron Rodgers, making tens of millions of dollars a year to reporters who may make like $50,000, and I don't even know if they get into positions like this making $50,000. So it's definitely apples to apples.
Opportunity. We say, whoa, no, we love you. We do want you to stick around. We do care about you. Just have the same feeling, and
what?
So. I said it wasn't about the money, and
the threat to leave gets more money, but it's not about money. I don't get it. Which one is it, dude?
Really changed throughout the summer. There were obviously some developments.
When it's not about the money,
but,
it's about the money.
I was really working on myself and my own mental state throughout the summer, and at various points deciding if I wanted to.
Everybody in their goddamn mental state right now.
The fire still burns, and I wanted to.
Simone Biles,
I wanted to be on a football
Aaron
team.
Rodgers.
We got some things.
I've been out of work a year and a half, motherfucker. My mental state is fucking racked.
Let's go one at a time. Y'all get a chance.
Still chugging along,
Does
though.
the Randall Cobb move, is that...
But you, with your millions, I'm sure you're really hurting
from the
mentally.
organization's part to listen to you and respect your thoughts on personnel?
Well, look, I'm really excited. Randall's coming back. He's obviously a dear friend, and
dear
guys
friend.
still
That's
believe
it.
in that can really play. He falls into that category.
His numbers
I
don't
mentioned
show it,
earlier,
champ.
Guys who left here, who were high character guys. It's the desire that I've talked about before to finish as a Packer. That's always been really important to me.
Oh,
stop!
You wanted to be traded. You wanted out of here. They couldn't get you out of here. Paul Allen of KFan said that part of the issue was that Rodgers believed the Packers told him they'd trade him, and then they didn't. So you didn't want to finish with the Packers. You wanted out. They didn't let you out, and so you got pissed off. They didn't give you money. You wanted more money. You got pissed off. You wanted players. They didn't give you players. You got pissed off. This is the biggest bratty bullshit I've heard in years in professional football. Only with the quarterback.
The guys I mentioned, I talked
only
to
with
the
Pissy
majority of them
face
this offseason because I wanted to hear their experience and how they felt leaving the team and the way it went down. So I had all the information.
Yeah.
And I think there's a
And if you don't believe me, I talked to all the other people that were disrespected by the Packers. All of the same players who noticeably retired 2 years after they left the Packers because they were so fucking
sadness
awesome.
Underneath it all. Obviously, there's a sadness when your career ends, but a sadness that things went down the way they went down. For a team that they cared
they
about.
Didn't throw money at you for no apparent reason?
So many years. So to get Randall back is really special. It's something that
you have to have no self-awareness to give a press conference like this. Zero self-awareness.
To make our offense more dynamic, and I think Randall's a dynamic player. He has been when he's been healthy.
What? No fucking way, buddy. No way.
It's about to get all stupid up in here!
Randall Cobb, buddy.
Suck a motherfucker!
I talked about how important being a full-timer was for a long time. This was the first time to spend the off-season away without a COVID year or a lockout year. And I enjoyed it. I really did. I took time working on myself. And
taking more shots at the Packers on
myself in a number
Jeopardy.
Of areas where I feel like I could improve based on my own patterns and conditioning. And it was a lot of growth in that process. I continued.
You're 38. How much better shape are you going to get in?
However, there's still a big competitive hole in my body that I need to fill. And as I got back into my workouts, I just realized that I know
Danica
I can
Patrick
still play,
say the same thing?
And I want to still play. And as long as I feel like I can give 100% to the team, then I should still play.
What happens if you can give 90%? Is it still a go or only 100?
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, I think things are in that direction haven't really changed at all. I think I'm just going to focus on this year. There's a lot of moving pieces besides myself.
What are the moving
expiring
pieces?
Contracts for a number of guys. So
at the end of the year. Yeah, okay, like the end of every fucking year.
I'm just going to enjoy this year and then revisit that conversation at the end of the season.
Aaron, you said many times.
No,
you reiterated
that's
it's always been your goal.
not true because you just had them redo your contract to get rid of the 2023 option and reconsider the 2022 contract because basically you're going to demand out at the end of this year regardless. So you're having fun with this year. The only way you're coming back in 2022 is if they redo your contract, give you 20 more years with $500 million, and they give you personnel control. That's the only way you're coming back. This is the final dance. This is the last dance, period.
To finish your career as a Packer, do you hope that this progresses to a point where you feel all right with that moving forward? You said focus on this year, but do you still stand by what you said year after year that you want to finish with that?
I did, but as you recall, I said last year that there's some things that might be out of my hands at this point. And
there should be nothing in your hands. You're the quarterback.
Them drafting my replacement, J-Lo last year.
That's what teams do.
Kind of put things in motion. Based on the way the season went last year, there was nothing in last season that made me confident that I'd be back after 21 and maybe even not after 2020. Thought we could progress some of those conversations with maybe a greater commitment during the offseason.
The same commitment they gave to Brett Favre when they drafted you?
But that's why I just have to focus on this season. And I love this team. I love the fans and the opportunity.
Just don't vacation here. It's a shithole vacation
My 17th season is really special. I don't take that for granted. I'm not a victim here at all. I just want to reiterate that. Like, I've been paid a ton of money
you
by this
sure ain't,
organization. I'm so
Pissy
thankful
face.
to be a starter here for
$241 million say you are not a
guys
fucking
have the
victim.
opportunity to do that. So I'm not. I don't feel like anything's been done to me. It's a business. You know, it's an incredible opportunity to play this game.
It is a business that you
It's a
do
tough
not
business,
understand.
too.
That is
And
for
this
sure.
Part of it. So I totally get that point.
Do you?
And that's not lost on me.
Are you sure?
That's why I'm just going to enjoy this season like I did last year, have the right perspective, and then make decisions at the end of the season.
Okay, Aaron, help me with the recall on this. We came in here, I think it was 2018. Kirk Cousins had got his deal, and Matthew got his deal.
Oh, here, we're
And so these guys
referencing
were
other
asking me,
deals.
and you said, it's
This will be
gonna come.
interesting.
I'm concerned about the money. But I thought I remember you saying, what I'm looking for is a partnership. Is that accurate?
Oh, God. We've already
Because
covered
it
the
was long
partnership
after you
thing.
got
He's
the
going to
deal. And then 6 months
basically
later on a
shit
Monday,
on the
you
Packers
said
here.
They called you you said they called you on a golf course and said, it's Matt LaFleur, why don't you talk to him?
Oh, here we go. This is the Matt LaFleur hiring, right?
Way after that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call that a partnership, that part of it. I mean, I wasn't involved in those conversations at all.
As
I
you
talked to
should
Matt
not
after the deal
have
had already been in
been
place to hire this
dumbass.
coach. So I wasn't part of that conversation. Let's just make that completely clear. I do love Matt, and we've had a blast together, and I'm glad he's here.
But
we're changed for nothing.
Decisions like that have happened over and over and over again that make me realize that the organization looks at me and my job as just to play. In my opinion, based on what I've accomplished in this league, the way I care about my teammates, the way I show up in the locker room, the way I lead, the way I conduct myself in the community, it should tie myself to a little bit more input. The rules, are the same for most people, but every now and then there's some outliers, guys who've been in an organization for 17 years and won a few MVPs, where they can be in conversations at a different higher level. I'm not asking for anything that other great quarterbacks across the last few decades have not gotten.
Like Joe Montana?
Give me a hell yeah!
So if you're gonna cut a guy who
Peyton Manning?
Give me a hell yeah!
Was our second best receiver in training camp last year for the majority of camp. Maybe run it by me. See what I feel. I might be able to change your mind. But at least to be in a conversation makes you feel like
what
you're important,
quarterback has
respected.
been in that conversation?
And that's what I tried to convey in February.
You clueless
and for
twat.
the first couple months. But no, it hasn't been that. That's just the way they do it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but objectively, there's been a lot of success here over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be a little bit more involved.
Okay, but you weren't.
And I understand that that's not the way it went.
You don't understand. You understand. You obviously don't. You've been talking 10 minutes now about how you can't understand it.
Anything or say anything like, yeah, we're going to do this, or is it just the same as it always was?
I'm not sure, Rob. At this point, I can only say one of the things was to be involved in free agency. Because, just talk to Preston Smith, why he came here and why he actually took a pay cut to re-sign. He knows that we got an opportunity to win a championship when I'm playing.
Okay.
And it's a sentiment that's echoed by other players across the league who hit me up that I'm friends
He
with.
took a pay cut to
get traded or come
stay there?
I want to be a part of an
How much of a pay cut for one? And who was offering him more money
I just wanted
too?
to make myself available, to have those conversations. To be
Buffalo
maybe
Bills
something
were
that
offering
tips
me a
over the
shit
edge
ton
if
of
you're
money.
trying to sign a specific guy.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You ain't going to
that wasn't,
Buffalo.
That wasn't part of March at all.
If they had shown security or, given you some assurances ahead that you would be here for several years, how would they do that financially, given their salary cap situation and not being in a situation where when you retire, they would be $70 million? How would you do
How do they give you all that money and not destroy their cap?
Through
Good question, sir.
Signing bonuses and stuff. That
And boom goes the dynamite.
Load for sure. But there wasn't a commitment past 2021. There was conversation about that. I know you guys were all talking about moving.
Is that what he
salary around,
said? I don't think that was the question.
To open up some cap space for sure. Obviously, with the salary cap going down from the 190s to 182, they had I think everybody's contract who had a contract basically got restructured in some way.
Yeah, that's the way it
was
goes.
More just the approach. To not mention
now it's
anything past
approach
2021 made me feel like that I wasn't in the future plan.
Guess what?
Which again,
it's not about approach
I get
if you're
it's a
talking
business,
about
you know,
future
and
commitments.
I'm not a victim
It's about
here.
money.
I've made a ton of money here, and I've been really fortunate to play a long time and to play here. At the same time, I'm still competitive, and I still feel like I can play. I proved it last year. So
Not the year
I feel
before,
like
though.
Making a commitment past the 2021 season was not a.
It's getting a little long in the tooth here, I know. We're pushing
and
on.
there are ways
We'll
to
give
do
it a
that.
little bit more time here
That
before we
wasn't,
punch out.
necessarily accomplished.
See if there's any other
So
gems.
that's why we're here.
Oh, there's only 2 minutes left in this anyway.
The team, you basically came to a conclusion that, okay, if you're not going to commit to me beyond the season, let's just move on now. The Packers were very steadfast, both publicly and privately to other teams. We're not trading him. Do you want to be here right now?
I do.
Great
I do.
question.
I love my teammates.
Oh,
I love the city. I love my coaches. It is a lot of fun to be back here. And like I said, I'm competitive. And
We got
I
it.
realize
We
the type of
got
team
it. You're
that's in place here.
competitive.
It's a team that's has a lot of talent on it. It's been close the last couple of years. So I'm definitely excited about this season. I've had a lot of great conversations over, I'd say, the last 2 weeks with various teammates, past and present.
Sure.
And it's definitely
What does that matter?
refueled the fire to go out and lead and perform at my best.
That's what fueled the fire.
I
Conversations
felt really good
with
today after
Packer
a long,
legends past and present.
hiatus, just being back out there and feeling.
I thought it was your drive. I thought it was your competitive
I
nature.
feel really good about.
Is it the
being
conversations you
back. It's
had
fun to see a
with
lot of
Packer
guys
greats, or
come
was
up
it
in the
your
locker room.
internal competitive nature?
It's strange after so many months, but it was fun to see the guys, see the old guys, the trainers, equipment staff, Andy Gruber. I just gave him a hug. I hadn't seen him. He wasn't here all last year, so there's a lot of fun things about being back.
Okay,
And
well,
I understand the opportunity that's here.
You were just here in February, dude. It wasn't like you were here 3 years ago. It was literally 5 months ago.
No, and I would say it's.
I actually can't believe what I just saw.
Me either, Chris. Me either. Yeah, so there you have it. That's the presser from today from Pissy Face. And let me tell you, it was truly a sight to be seen and heard, because, I mean, I think we have all now seen exactly who Aaron Rodgers is, right? Fantastic quarterback. Crazy athletic. Has that X factor that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. They've always said Mahomes is Rodgers-esque with his ability to create plays out of nowhere. However, a complete and utter asshole. Plain and simple. And look, there have been no quarterbacks of decades past that have gotten everything that they wanted. I mean, I named 2 in Montana and Manning that were shown the door. Shown the door. Right? And Montana won infinitely more championships than Mr. Rogers did. And they still showed him the door. Because guess what? They had another quarterback in the wings. And Montana, with the championships he did, even though he might not have been the quarterback that Rodgers is, deserved way more respect than Mr. Rogers. And he still got sent to Kansas City. Again, the lack of awareness or the narcissism that this guy has shown in his later years just blows my mind. But is what it is. So there we go. That was the biggest news story of the day, was Aaron Rodgers coming out, and even though reporting in for Packers camp, just taking a big giant dump all over Packers management for basically doing their job. That's what he shit all over him for. Doing exactly what the fans expect him to do, which is fiscally run a good organization so that they continue to have success in years future and don't end up dying by choking on cap numbers. Sorry, Aaron. I don't see it. Anyway, so that was a presser. I wanted to get that in there today because it was big news. Thought it would be fun. I don't know if it was, but it was for me. Hopefully it was for you. So, Audi 5000, I will talk to you later. Peace.